Since the beginning of recorded time, man has struggled against beast. Most of the stories you hear are about lions or tigers or bears, but if you live in New York City, you're struggling with rats or cockroaches or maggots, and of course, mice. This is my story about a battle with a very resilient mouse. Welcome to Sketch My Story. I'm Megan Sass, and this is my story. Several years ago, I was going through a particularly bad mouse infestation, and an exterminator had come by and left some poison and a few sticky traps, but it wasn't working. So, I decided that I was going to personally declare war on the mice in my apartment. And I went to a hardware store and I bought a ton more of the traps. Now, if you're familiar with how to catch a mouse, you know that sticky traps are the worst possible thing you can use. Because unlike poison or snap traps, sticky traps don't actually kill the animal. So the very night I laid these traps everywhere, I've just gotten back home. I'm exhausted. I've settled into the couch when a furry friggin' mouse runs across the floor right in front of me. I rise from my seat, I look at the mouse, take a deep breath, and I scream as loud as I possibly can. Not because I'm afraid. I'm pissed off. The mouse is startled by my screaming, and so it runs straight into a sticky trap. Now, probably because I saw it get caught, I feel awful. I think, maybe I can free the mouse from the trap. After all, it's only just gotten in there. Now, dear listener, you're gonna have to bear with me, because for the remainder of this story, my actions only get stupider. In my guilt, I put on a pair of latex gloves, I pick up the trap, and I attempt to yank the mouse's body off the trap. The mouse is, understandably, terrified. I mean, of course it is. There's a giant, hysterical redhead prying its body off a bed of glue. And so it bites me. Its teeth break through the latex glove and my skin and the nail on one of my fingers. Now, I'm bleeding just a little bit, but the bite is just deep enough that I maybe need to be concerned. So I call 911. Hello, this is 911. Where is your emergency? No, not an emergency. You don't need to send anybody. I just got bitten by a mouse in my apartment. I need to know the procedure for this. Should I go to the hospital? So the woman on the other line responds, well, animals don't normally bite people, so if it bit you, there's probably something wrong with it. So yes, you probably should go to the hospital. No. I don't think there's anything wrong with the animal. I think the problem is I'm an idiot, and I tried to free it from a trap. To which the woman on the other end explains, oh, well, it probably didn't know you were trying to help it. It got scared. Yeah, no, I know. I understand the mouse psychology here. Just tell me if I need to go to the hospital. Yes, you should go to the hospital. Oh, okay. Here's my next question. Do I need to bring the mouse? So she's like, yeah, you should. They may need to test it for disease. Okay, excellent. Then she says, should I send an ambulance? And I'm like, no. The mouse bit my finger. I can walk. And she says, are you going to the hospital by yourself? Is there someone who can go with you? Yeah. I got the mouse. So cut to the inside of the hospital, where I enter with 2 plastic bags containing a mouse stuck to a sticky trap that is still alive. I sit down in the waiting room. There is a very large, stoic, impressive gentleman sitting next to me. He looks pretty tough. And after about 20 minutes, he leaps to his feet and he starts screaming. I look out at the room and everyone else has started migrating away from the spot that I'm sitting in. So I look down to the floor. The mouse has chewed through the 2 plastic bags, dislodged its front 2 legs from the trap, and is now lurching across the hospital waiting room floor with the lower half of its body still attached to the trap. A custodian gives me a trash bag to put the mouse in. I get called back to give my information to a nurse. So I sit down. I explain why I'm there, and the first thing the nurse says to me is, Why did you bring the mouse? Well, I was told you might need to test it. So he opens the bag. The mouse is still alive. Now, it's at this point I realize that in trying to do something humane, to save this mouse's life, all I've actually done is prolong its suffering. Because between the pulling and bags and the relocation and the screaming room of people and the garbage bag and now the judgmental nurse, I have given this animal the most traumatizing end to its life possible. The nurse tells me two things. One, this is not a big deal. I don't need to be tested for rabies. They're probably just going to give me a tetanus shot. I'm going to get rushed through. I'm going to be out of here in no time. Two, he's going to hold on to the mouse to scare the female nurses. So now, in addition to mouse torture, I'm also an accomplice to a sexist prank. But at the very least, at this point, the mouse is out of my hands. I think I'm going to be done with this experience really shortly. 3 hours later, I finally get sent back to a doctor who Googles the procedure for mouse bites in New York City. At which point I'm told I didn't need to come into the hospital in the first place. But since I'm here just in case, let's give me a tetanus shot. By the time I get home, the sun is coming up. I crawl into bed and I think to myself, no, Megan, maybe it's time to get a cat. Or maybe it's time to get a partner. Here's an anthem for the rest of us. It's called All I Want Is a Man Who Isn't Good Enough for Me. Click here to hear it now. Or here's another animated story about Fee having to call 911. Not for a mouse, but a body.